Fahrenheit 9/11. Let's fast forward to this week. U.S. forces leaving Afghanistan, ending a 20-year occupation that began right after the 9/11 attacks. Here to discuss the end of America's longest war is Oscar-winning filmmaker Michael Moore, also host of the critically acclaimed Rumble with Michael Moore podcast. Michael recently launched a Substack and will be hosting a free screening of Fahrenheit 9/11 this Friday at michaelmoore.com. It's always good to have you on the show, Michael, so welcome back. And as we look at this Afghanistan war, it's over. How significant of a moment is this for you? How big of a mark do you think this is going to leave on President Biden's legacy, getting us out of this war?
Well, I think history will portray him as a courageous individual who was very brave in standing up against all the cries for continuing the war, I'm so. Actually, let me just show you just a split second of his genius. If you could put up that still photo you just had on before I came on, especially I'm looking. Yes, okay, there we go. So this is the last soldier out. All right, this is General Donahue, and he is coming up the ramp of the C-130. There's literally no other American soldier behind him there at the airport. He is the last one out. If you're the last one out and what you're leaving behind is the mortal enemy from the last 20 years, look at him. He's coming up the ramp with not. What you do is you have to keep your back not to the enemy. You turn around and you back up the ramp with your gun pointed out because there's nobody there to protect you. And yet he knew he was safe having his back to the Taliban and walking up that ramp. Now, how did he know he wasn't going to get shot, wasn't going to be the last man out dying going up that ramp? He's looking forward, not turned around. And the reason for that is we have a commander-in-chief right now who figured it out. He had to pivot very quickly because he did not expect the Taliban to take over the country that quickly. He had to negotiate. He had his team negotiating with the Taliban to make sure 124,000 people could get out safely so that not one of those planes would be shot down out of the air. And he had to make sure that the very last soldier, General Donahue, could walk up that ramp safely without having to turn around to see if he was going to be shot by the Taliban. Who did that? Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden did that. He and his team negotiated with people that I would think would be extremely hard to negotiate with to make sure that the Taliban would not kill any of our soldiers and so that every plane could get up and in the air safely. It's an amazing accomplishment. I can't believe that this happened. Now, granted, you can't always plan for the rogue terrorist attack like they had with ISIS there almost a couple of weeks ago. But he negotiated with the evil Taliban. I'll take the quote marks away. They actually are really bad guys. He negotiated with them to not kill a single one of our soldiers, to let everyone who wanted to leave, including Afghan citizens, leave, and not fire a single Stinger missile or a rocket at one of those planes. I have to say that is just the most amazing thing. We are so lucky to have a competent and caring commander-in-chief, and that is how he will be remembered for this.
You know, thinking about that, I mean, it's a very thoughtful, sage observation, all encompassed in that photo. But you make very good points there. You're 100% right, Michael. But then how do you square that with the chaos, the tragedy of that ISIS-K attack? Those are pictures. I mean, you're a filmmaker. You're all about the visual and mirroring that with certain context. How do you square that as being part of the legacy of this withdrawal, which you know some are calling chaotic?
Well, they want to call it that because they don't want to give this man credit for getting 124,000 people out with their lives and without a single plane being shot down and not a single soldier of ours killed by the Taliban. I mean, look, terrorism has been with us for a long time. It will be with us for a long time after this. And a lot of times you don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Capitol Police thought January 6th was going to happen. I don't blame them for that. Sometimes things get chaotic and get out of control. That's what happens. I read this headline today, the honeymoon is over and Joe Biden knows it. And I thought, what are you talking about? First of all, it's not over. So many Americans are so pleased with the fact that what he has done in terms of helping people who are out of work, helping people who don't have food. In just these few short months, he's cut child poverty in half. He has increased the food stamp program by an amount not since 1962. So he's taken millions off the hunger rolls. I mean, you look at everything that this man has done in such a short period of time with the mess that he inherited. It's stunning to me. And I speak as a lifetime supporter of Bernie Sanders. So I didn't vote for him, Joe Biden, in the Michigan primary. So please understand, this is not coming from a Joe Biden sycophant. I am giving credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. And we are fortunate to have him. And now, you know, when they say the honeymoon's over and they're look, I think the honeymoon's still going on, frankly. And anybody, if you've ever been on a honeymoon, I mean, look at people who went on the honeymoon, they went to the Grand Canyon, they get to the Grand Canyon, it's closed. You know, and then so they go, oh, let's get something to eat. They go down to Billy Bob's Burgers. That night, they both got food poisoning. Now, if somebody a week later asked them how'd the honeymoon go, no, you know, it was okay, not so great. Food poisoning, Grand Canyon was closed. Yeah, but what will you say in 5 years from now? That's not how you're going to remember the honeymoon. You're just bummed in the moment. And I think that these polls out today showing him, you know, his approval rating going down, it's only because Americans are in the midst of this chaos right now, not just the end of the war in Afghanistan, but all the stuff that happened in the last couple of weeks, the hurricanes, everything. You know, when you got a lot of bummer stuff going on, people aren't going to give happy answers to the pollster. But the honeymoon's not over. And in fact, I can say that Joe Biden has gone up in my approval rating in